Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel for everything Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. I hope you're all doing well. And welcome to a combined 11 for West Ham against Arsenal. The last time I talked to this guy next to me was, I think we did the first ever video we did on the channel was back in September, I think, of last year when apparently West Ham was supposed to be relegated according to them and Arsenal was supposed to win the trophy according to us. And then we did some Premier League predictions with him as well a couple of months later. And since then, let's just say a lot has changed. Personally, for both of us, for their team, for your team, West Ham, a lot has changed. How have you been, Tom?
I've not been too bad, mate. Yes, yeah, I won't. I won't speak about last time too much because it literally feels like it was in a different season almost the way that we were talking about our two teams. So I'm sure it's going to be interesting going into this weekend, and I'm pretty sure the combined 11 is going to be a lot different than probably what it would have been at the start of the season as well. So yeah.
Yeah, you are complaining about Diangane. I think Diangane leaving the club. You're complaining about keeping Haller. Like a lot has changed. Those players are no longer even there. Even the players who played in that first game between the two teams, the likes of Nketiah, Willock, Haller, all of them are no longer there anymore. Masuaku injured throughout, unfortunately. So a lot of changes would have been made. So you're going to go through a combined 11 with him. Before that, where can they follow you, Tom?
At Athos32, which side is there? There you go. On Twitter, YouTube, all things FIFA at the minute, which is again different to what happened last time we did this video. So there you go.
Everything will be scrolling down the bottom, and everything will be in the description. You can find the links there. So let's get into the combined 11. Before we get into the goalkeepers, what have you made of your season so far?
Out of the blue, just absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
I honestly, like when we did those videos at the start of the season, we had such a tough run of games. We had the likes of the City, the Chelsea. I think it may even been Liverpool or like Arsenal yourself. We had such a horrible run to start the season in terms of games, and it was rough. Those first 5-6 games were rough, and then when we played Wolves at home. And then Leicester, and all of a sudden, it was like just a switch went off in the head. I don't think any West Ham fan saw that coming, like at all. Nobody saw it coming. David Moyes basically said in the end of August, "These are players I want to keep. These are players I want to get rid of." He got rid of what he assessed to be his dead wood, and he kept the players that he wanted for a squad. He made a couple of really, really good signings, which I'm sure we'll talk about in the combined 11. And we just haven't looked back. I mean, since January, I think only City have been the better form team in the league. It's been just like breath of fresh air. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, not about for Arsenal. I remember we were talking about Arsenal getting top 3. Have you been surprised with our poor form this season?
I have. I mean, you've started to look a little bit better in recent weeks. You picked up some good results. Obviously, you play Olympiacos tonight, and you should expect that you'll go through in that one. I think that Europa League may be your saving grace. I still have a sneaking suspicion that you may even win it because a lot of teams, English teams that don't get Champions League, end up going on and winning that competition, like some Man United in the years past and stuff, and Chelsea. And so, no, I think you had a bit of a blip towards the season. I do think there are some good players in that team, and I do think that Arteta, if you were to stick with him in the long run, from an outside perspective looking in, the investments in some of the players that have been bought, I don't necessarily think are good, but I still think there are some good young prospects coming through again. I'm sure we'll talk about in the combined 11 that are very exciting at the minute.
Yeah, let's find out how many of those good players are at Arsenal. So goalkeeper, let's get into the combined 11 now. For the goalkeepers here, I don't know if I can use the word, the term spoiled for choice, but we have a lot of options. Lucas Fabianski, you can be mentioned with the Arsenal goalkeepers either way. We have, I think it's David Martin. We have Darren Randolph. We have Bernd Leno, Ryan, Ranasson. 6 goalkeepers to choose from. Tom, which one are you going for? And which 2 are you sending straight to the academy from this list?
I honestly, and again, I'm going to be not as biased as possible. I do watch a lot of football. I do know a lot of football. Lucas Fabianski has been nothing short of sensational this season for us. His question marks has been with injuries, and I've seen a lot of Leno, and I saw even a mistake that he made the other day. I saw Ranasson made a few mistakes. Fabianski, when he's played, has pretty much been just top notch. Man United the other day, even though we lost, I still would say that it would have to be Fabianski. I think we probably conceded less goals than you as well this season. As I haven't looked, but I imagine so.
Yeah.
So for me, I think on form at the minute it would be Fabianski. But I mean, Leno is a great keeper on his day, but I just think he looked a bit short of confidence last few weeks, and obviously that sort of didn't help by the mistake that he made the other day as well.
Yeah, and which two are you sending to the academy from that list?
Probably, I mean, David Martin's like 35, 36, and Randolph is around the same sort of age. So I'll go with Matt Ryan and Runnison because he's the youngest one out of all of them. I do think like even Matt Ryan a few years ago was one of the best keepers in the league. You know, for Brighton, that first season they came up, he was incredible. So yeah, I'd probably go with Ryan and Runnison.
Ryan and Runnison. Okay, so for me, I'll put this in the community tab for people to vote because I'll still go with Leno. I think Fabianski is a very, very good goalkeeper. He actually helped us end our drought for not winning the trophy for 9 years. He was one of the reasons why we won that FA Cup in 2014. I think he saved like 3 penalties in the semi-finals. So he's a pretty good shot stopper. I always fancy him to save penalties when you guys give away penalties. There's a time you're giving away a lot. I remember that period where you gave the likes of Lookman, Watkins, you were giving away so many penalties. So I think he's a very good penalty save as well. So I'd go with Leno, but I'd give you that. So let's go to right back. We have Vladimir Coufal. The last time we talked about West Ham Arsenal, I don't think he was anywhere near the radar. Frederick, Cedric, and Bellerin. Which one would you go for according to the performances this season?
The Arsenal players are coming, I promise you, because I've had to think about this. The Arsenal players are coming, but Vladimir Coufal has been one of the best right backs in the league this season, bar none. The way that he handled the likes of Jack Grealish when we played away at Villa when we won, was it 2-3-1 or 2-3-0 or something like that a couple of weeks ago, he was absolutely brilliant. Most weeks, people find it difficult. You'll put your best player, I don't know if Aubameyang will be playing against us this weekend down the left or Saka or somebody else, but whoever it is, you will find a hard game against Coufal. He gives absolutely nothing away. He doesn't dive in. He doesn't make any rash challenges. He's got an engine like no other. And I've been shocked for £5 million of what we paid for him. He's been worth every penny. And it's weird because when we first spoke, a few months ago when we played the game, Ryan Fredericks was in the form of his life. Like there was no, he was one of the most creative right backs in the Premier League for those first few games, or even creative players. So it was hard to drop him. And then Coufal came in and we've not looked back since. I think he's been absolutely brilliant for us. So I would start Coufal and then I would put Fredericks and Cedric. That's controversial in the academy.
Yeah, kind of. So no mention for Bellerin. He's been all over the place this season. I usually try to protect him because a lot of 90% of Arsenal fans give him the slander, like what is he doing? He can't give a pass, can't make a throw in. I always feel like the injury kind of affected him and stuff. I always feel he can give the pace can help a bit, but he's also lost a bit of that pace. So I agree with you, Coufal. I understand he came from the same team with another of your players, right?
Yes. Yeah, he did. Okay, and funnily enough, Souček, the guy, he actually recommended Coufal to the club. Like it wasn't the scouts that picked him up. Souček was like, "Hey, I've got somebody that you may want to play right back for you." So that literally came from Souček. So
yeah, I wonder if Arteta can ask him to give us some more ideas on players from Slavia Prague as well. So we are going with Coufal. I don't disagree with that. He's been very good. Assists, I have him in my FPL team right now anyway as well.
So do I.
He's very good. he can take corners, he can take free kicks when Cresswell is not on them, and so Coufal definitely. Speaking of Cresswell, at left back we have Cresswell, we have Masuaku, we have Johnson, we have Tierney. So obviously most of these players, Tierney has been injured for a couple of weeks here and there. Johnson, youngster, Masuaku has been injured for nearly the whole season, and Cresswell as well has been playing as a centre back sometimes. So which one are we going for the left back?
This is one of the biggest tough ones I had when I was thinking about this, but I'm going with Kieran Tierney here. It's controversial because again, Aaron Cresswell is having arguably one of the best seasons of his career. I think he tops his assist charts for left backs or defenders. Like he's been brilliant from dead balls. He's been fantastic. But I will say every single time that I watch Arsenal, The one player that seriously excites me is Kieran Tierney. The way that he bombs on down that left-hand side, he always looks to overlap and get in behind. And if you go a goal down, it's always him showing the emotion. It's him that wants to drag you back in. And when Cresswell's similar to Bellerin, he got injured a few years ago in pre-season, and Kieran Tierney was still in Scotland at the time. And I was thinking, if there's any one left-back I really want, it would be Kieran Tierney because of how he showed out in the Champions League. And maybe it's taken him a little while to get used to Premier League. But now, not only in the Premier League, in Europe as well, I think he's top class, and I think he's probably one of the better left backs in the league, and probably will be for years to come. So I would definitely go with Kieran Tierney.
So Arsenal posted a video on YouTube on the open mic, where they put the mic on one play and then they show you what they usually say around when the game is going on.
Right.
And Tierney is very vocal. He was literally trying to position Smith Rowe. He was telling Saka where to go. He was telling Xhaka where to go. He was telling. He was ripping Doherty apart in that North London derby. Doherty was being ripped apart. So you're very right about him dragging us back into games. The Benfica game would have been out if it was not for him. He literally got us the second goal. I think he's got 2-3 goals already this season, which is very good. Assists every now and then. If the likes of Lacazette was scoring every single one of his assists, he would have been on 20 assists this season. So I definitely agree with you. But Cresswell, very, very good in terms of set pieces. You guys score a lot of corners and free kicks, so he's been very good at that. How about Ben Johnson for you? I know he's been playing as a wing back.
Yeah, he's been in and out of the team. I think he probably would have played a lot more this season. He's actually a right back, but he's been playing sort of makeshift left back at times. I don't think since Masuaku got injured and had to have surgery on his knee, he's played left back a lot more. But every time he seems to play, I don't know if it's because he's still young, but he does give the ball away quite a lot, and it can be a little bit frustrating sometimes. But we have to take into consideration he's still very raw and he's still quite young. So, and it's not a knock against Cresswell, like I said, but attacking wise, Cresswell is fantastic. It's the defensive game that he struggles with. But every time I seem to watch Kieran Tierney, he's just up and down, up and down, up and down all game long. So yeah.
And just a small mention on Masuaku. Is he a player you're looking to have back, or are you going to sell him at the end of the season?
I don't know, because he's really weird, because in a back five, he's brilliant. He's a bit like Cresswell. He's seriously good going down the left. He's skillful. He's dribbles. He does everything. But defensively, his game, he's woeful at times. So if we're playing a back five, I'd have him in probably most times if Cresswell wasn't playing at the level he was. But at the minute, I'd probably, I'd keep him. I'd keep hold of him because he's a good backup option to have. But we're playing a lot of, four at the back at the minute. So I probably wouldn't start him with a four at the back.
Unfortunately for him, the thing I remember with him, every time I hear Masuaku, I remember the reason why he was banned for a couple of games. I think a couple of seasons ago.
I was at that game. Yeah, he spat. He spat at somebody.
That's what I remember about him. Imagine. So that shows you something. So we have Kufala at right back. We have Tierney at left back. At centre back now, Tom, I don't know which two you'll pick, because I'm gonna include the injured players as well. Anyway, Ogbonna, Balbuena, we have Craig Dawson, we have Issa Diop, we have Gabriel, Pablo Mari, Luiz, Chambers, Holding. 9 defenders to choose from. Just pick 2.
Can you give me yours 2 first? Because I want to see what you what you think. Go on, you give me your 2.
So according to the season so far, before he got injured, Ogbonna was very, very good. Attacking wise and defensive wise, I think he was having the best of his seasons ever. He reminded me of I don't know how much he was playing at Juventus, but he was very good this season in terms of leading the defenders. I think he was the most consistent one before the injuries. I was very surprised with him as well. I couldn't believe how many goals he was scoring, how many headers he was getting on the other side of the pitch. So Ogbonna would definitely be in. Very unlucky to get the injury. I think he was to get probably a player of the season if he didn't get injured. I don't know how long he is out for. So Ogbonna would probably be the first one. There are others that I'll definitely eliminate. The likes of Chambers and Balbuena, who haven't played a lot, will be eliminated. Diop as well only came in after Ogbonna got injured. So the second one will be Gabriel. I'd have Gabriel and Ogbonna. I know they're both left-footed, but I'd have both of them at centre-back, Gabriel and Ogbonna.
Yeah, I agree with you on Ogbonna. I think he was one of the best players. But boy, I had this conversation with Charlie, who obviously if you've had on before, and I would argue one of the best sort of centre backs outside of the traditional top six. Even if you look in the league, I would struggle to find if he wasn't in the top 10 centre backs. That's how good I think he's actually been this season. He gets overlooked quite a lot. The other one is this is where I struggle, because I know Gabriel's been good and he was in and out of the team a little bit around sort of Christmas time. I don't think he started off quite well. I remember he scored for Fulham, didn't he? Against Fulham, was it when you won 3-0 away from home? He scored there, and it was like, whoa, is this the centre back to fix our centre back crisis? And again, David Luiz has done a similar thing. He was really bad to start the season, and all of a sudden he's really come on the last couple of weeks and months. I'm gonna have to go with Craig Dawson just because.
Wow.
The thing is, if I wasn't choosing Dawson, I would be choosing Gabriel. I think in terms of his age and future, and he may become a very good centre back. But I could not find a person in the land that would look and say they knew that this kind of season was coming from Craig Dawson. Like, he's literally been sensational. He's added goals. He's been brilliant defensively. The amount of clean sheets that he's kept, I think he's kept like 5 or 6 clean sheets since he came into the team. Him and Ogbonna together were amazing. But the thing is that when everybody thought, oh, Ogbonna's gone down, we're going to start leaking goals now, he jumped in with Diop, and it was like nothing, nobody went away. And it was incredible. I'm shocked. Like I said, this guy's been relegated back-to-back seasons with West Brom, with Watford. I never saw it coming, and he's been absolutely brilliant, which probably means that he's going to start going like this because everybody realising how good that he's actually been. But yeah, it's been quite shocking at how good he's actually been. So on this season alone, not like going forward, because if I was choosing going forward, I'd probably say Gabriel because of youth and stuff like that. But on this season alone, I think Ogbonna and Dawson have been 2 of the best centre-backs in the league.
You really did think he'd go down 3rd season in a row, didn't you? You thought West Brom, Watford, and then West Ham, the 3 unlucky W's. You thought that was going to be it, but no. So for me, Dawson, I've always known him as a good defender, especially in the West Brom days when they used to keep clean sheets in the league and they used to score a lot of goals. I think he was playing alongside Hegazi, if I'm not wrong, and Johnny Evans over there. They used to be very good. So I've always known him as a good defender. So when you guys signed him and your fans were complaining, I was like, no, I think this guy is better than, I know Diop has had a couple of good games last season, but I was like, this guy would do the job for you this season. So I'm not surprised at how much of an impact he's had, especially playing alongside Ogbonna and Fabianski in behind him. I'm sure that's a very, very good back 3. But Tom, I have to disagree with you a bit because Gabriel is new to England. We didn't expect him to have that much impact. He's also had to deal with he got ill, missed a couple of weeks, picked up a red card, I think, missed a couple of weeks, but then he's come back straight in. Yes, he had a couple of wayward games, but recently again, he's literally dominated us. Against Tottenham, Kane did not have a chance the other day. Against Olympiacos, he saved us as well, just like Tierney did against Benfica. So I'm sure he'll have a lot of trouble with Arsenal fans going with Dawson ahead of Gabriel. So that is the second one I'm going to put on the poll. So we have Lennon, Fabianski.
Maybe we should just go 5 at the back. Let's have Fabianski.
I was really thinking that. I actually wanted to text you last night. I was like, which formation are we going for? Because I know Johnson is playing in the back 5. We've played the back 5 a couple of times this season. But yeah, if we went for back 5, we'd have Gabriel, Dawson, and Ogbonna.
There you go.
So we'll just put it in there. We'll talk about the other formation at the end.
We'll put a star next to it.
Yeah, put a star next to it. Yeah. So midfield 2. I went for 4-2-3-1 because that's what we play most of the times, both of the teams. So Soucek, Rice, Noble, who's going to retire at the end of next season, Xhaka, Partey, Ceballos, Elneny. So which 2 are we going for? Another tough one.
Now, come on.
I was also thinking 4-3-3.
Come on. There is only 2 right options here. There is literally only 2 right options. And I feel weird doing this because of how well we've played recently. Is the position that I've been put in? I can't not put Rice and Soucek. They've literally been the two of the best midfield pairings in the league this season. Like, literally name a better pairing other than maybe Gundogan and De Bruyne or whoever else for City, or Liverpool, you could say, but even then, that's been all over the place. Like it's difficult. Like these two have been played nearly every single minute, if not, I think, if not for Souček's red card against Fulham, they would have played every single minute together in the Premier League this season. Rice sits deep while Souček goes forward, and if Rice goes forward, Souček sits deep. They've both got such an understanding. Souček scored so many goals this season from corners, just being in the right place, running in. I think they've just been absolutely brilliant. Noble played for us the other night, and he was just like against Man United, and it was just wrong because it really mucked up the tempo of how Rice and Souček have just been playing together recently. I don't think I've seen enough of Thomas Partey. It's not to say that he's a bad player. I think he's a very good player. When I watched him in the Champions League for Atletico Madrid, I thought he was brilliant. And El Neni seems to be in and out. I know he scored a screaming the other day. Ceballos has made a couple of mistakes, of which I've seen in the Europa League. So for me, it's a no-brainer on this one. It has to be Souček and Rice.
So there are three of those players who are very easy to eliminate. That's Noble, Ceballos, and El Neni. Those ones are easy, and you can even argue Xhaka as well as the fourth one to be eliminated. Partey full season, he'd probably be there definitely if he's had a full season. But the problem is that he hasn't had a full season. So Souček 100%, I'm not disagreeing with you. He has to be there. Like since last season, I was like, who is this guy scoring goals for you? Like he's on loan, he's going to leave at the end of the season. Then he came back, and then he's had all the drama this season. He's had a bloody face on the ground and still woke up. He's had drama with Mike Dean. He's had so many goals this season. I couldn't believe how many goals he's scoring. I was telling Charlie the other day, Souček actually reminds me of Ramsey, the way he gets forward to score goals every now and then, and he has the heading ability as well. And I actually think he'll score a corner against us this week, either him or Dawson, one of them. He'll get a goal from a corner from
either. You better do. He's in my fantasy league this weekend.
And then Rice, he obviously picked to the English team that just got released a couple of hours ago. I probably will agree with you here. Partey will be close, but Rice and Souček will go in there because Souček has been brilliant being new in England, and Rice he's
been linked to like Barcelona and Bayern Munich and that, Thomas Souček. People don't realize that they everybody keeps saying he's David Moyes' new Fellaini. He's so much more than that. People just see a big lump and think, oh yeah, whatever. He doesn't stop running for 90 minutes. Like this man has got one of the biggest engines I've ever seen on a football pitch in my life. He could quite easily walk into a Champions League side. And I mean, he was, because when he was at Sparta Prague, he played in that group of death where they had Barcelona, Dortmund, and Inter. He never looks out of place. He's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I know people that will disagree with you though on Rice. I've had a couple of people saying it's overrated. I don't think he is. I thought the transition from defense to being a midfield, I thought that was very, very special as well. So I remember there's a time he played, I think one of his first West Ham games, I think it was Wenger's last season, and he played at centre back and he was terrible. I think he won like 3-0 at the Emirates Stadium. So he has improved a lot since then. I know some people will tell you he dances better than he plays, as you can see on screen along with Souček, all the dances and stuff. We'll come to the other people on the screen.
Look at the band.
Very funny, very funny. So Rice, I'll put him in there, but I'll also ask between Rice and Partey. I'm sure, according to expectation, Partey would get it.
Yeah, if Partey had a full season, if Partey had a full season, I'm sure he would have been around there.
Yeah, clearly, as you can tell, this is not a relegation team, as Tom thought at the start of the season. They're having so many players. Let's go to right wing. We have Bowen, who joined you guys from Hull, I think a couple of seasons ago. Yarmolenko, Saka, and Pepe. Which one are we going for that?
Saka, 100%. There's no questions. Yarmolenko, just not good enough. He's too one-footed. He's all left foot. Jarrod Bowen, so greedy, and there is a good player in there with Jarrod Bowen, but he's not scored in ages. It feels like now he's been coming off the bench recently. I'd probably expect him to start against Arsenal, but he's just not been good enough the last few weeks. Saka is just wow. He for such a young age, you've got an absolute stud on your hands there. He looks like he's going to be just he's a generational talent. And to be fair, like there has been times, especially earlier on in the season, when you were really struggling. He was pulling you out of most games, or it'd be goals, assists, or something else. So for me, it's Saka 100%.
He's been picked to the England team, and if I'm not wrong, I didn't see Greenwood in the England team, so that is very interesting. He's been picked, and Greenwood has been left out. Bowen, do you think Bowen should be tried out as a striker? Because I think you guys definitely need a striker in the summer. So Bowen as a striker, maybe up front.
Nah, I just don't like it. He makes good runs in behind, but he doesn't have. He's quick, but he's not that quick. He doesn't have like a proper turn of pace. I just don't like it. It's just too greedy for me. He really is too greedy. And when he first came, he scored quite a few goals and he looked like a real good buy. And I think he still will be, but he's just last few weeks he seems to have really struggled. And he's actually highlighted that himself. He did an interview with our club the other day. Again, I know obviously you Arsenal fans won't have seen that, but even he was like, I know I've not been good enough and I need to change that. So I think he's still only like 23 years of age. So there's time to grow. But right now, Saka is probably one of the, better right midfielders in the league this season.
So fun, you've mentioned Yarmolenko being one-footed. Same with Pepe. That's the only thing that is letting me down as well. He's improved the last few weeks.
All left foot.
All left foot. Yeah, I'm so annoying. If you see the likes of Saka, anytime he gets the ball, left foot, right foot, doesn't matter. He'll hit the cross. So we're going with Saka there 100%. And then on the left side, I'm going to according to where the players have played the majority of the season. So Fornals, Benrahma, Aubameyang, Martinelli, Willian. Who are we going for on the left side?
I thought that you would do this to me. That's why I in my head I thought he's probably going to put Aubameyang as left wing. So I'm going to choose Aubameyang.
Yeah,
I know he's not had the greatest of seasons, but if there's any one man on that list that I want me to, or I need to, if I need a goal and I need to get out of trouble, it's Aubameyang. I mean, one of the greatest sort of strikers or players or goal scorers in world football in the last decade. I love Benrahma. I think since he's come in, he's been absolutely brilliant. Fornals, again, we really missed the other night against Man United. His work rate, he may not score a lot of goals, but his work ethic, his work rate for the team, similar to what Kieran Tierney does. Fornals is always giving 110%. But David Moyes, for some reason, he just doesn't trust Benrahma, and it's really annoying because he's got the second most assists for us this season, and he just I think he's got I look at all these stupid stats that West Ham sort of Twitter accounts put out on Twitter, and he's got something like the best take on dribble success per 90 in the league. Sometimes you need those flair players. Sometimes you need a player that can say, right, give me the ball, I'll take you on, I'll beat the man, I'll get the cross in, I'll do something special with it to get the crowd going. And Benrahma, when the fans come back for us, he's 110% going to be that guy. I watched him quite a lot in the Championship last year for Brentford. He was absolutely brilliant. I think he's been brilliant when he's played for us as well, but for some reason, David Moyes doesn't trust him. But if there's one man I'm going to on that list to get me a goal or to change the game, it's Aubameyang 100%. And I will say as well, I've been a little bit disappointed by Willian this season. I know you tweeted about him a little bit. I see you tweeting about him quite a lot. But I thought he was going to have much bigger impact than he does. The last couple of weeks, he seems to have done a little bit better. I think didn't he do something? I can't remember. He did something the other week that you tweeted that you were happy about that he'd done. But I didn't think he'd be as sort of anonymous as he has been this season for you. I thought he would have definitely scored a few more or created than he had.
For the WWE fans, they say that he's cashing in his only money in the bank of their performances. Like he doesn't have too many, so he's just cashing in once in a while. So I agree with Willian, what you said on Willian. Benrahma, expected him to start more games this season. I'm very surprised. I expected him to have more impact. When I heard you guys signed him, I was like, wow, this is a big buy.
That's all David Moyes, but that's all David Moyes. Yeah, for whatever reason, he just does not trust him. I don't get it, but yeah.
Fornals, I always see when I check the West Ham watch-alongs and stuff, I always see people complaining in the chat, like Fornals, take him off when you guys are screaming for subs here and there, take him off. I always feel like he works hard, misses a lot of chances. Should score a few more goals maybe. So I think Aubameyang will go there definitely. We'll come to the players we'll put on the bench from each position just quickly. So attacking midfielder, now we have Jesse Lingard. We have Lanzini, who hasn't played a lot this season. We have Smith Rowe's been brilliant this season, and we have Odegaard, who's saving us a season so far till now. So Lingard, Odegaard just joined in January, but have been brilliant since. Lanzini, obviously injuries and stuff messing him up. Smith Rowe also came in just in December, not long ago, so he's been playing really well as well. So when you said Saka saved our season, Smith Rowe's the other one. So this is another tough choice, I'm guessing.
I think this is I fully expect you to go with an Arsenal player here. I'm going to obviously go with the West Ham player here. That's how it's going to work, because Lingard has obviously changed our season. It's interesting because, like we said there, all four or three of these four have only really recently came in since December, January time. So it's not really had much, but all bar one have had an amazing impact on the team. I think Smith Rowe has been absolutely brilliant. You know, from what I've watched of him, some of my Arsenal friends, the way they talk about him, he's going to be a good thing for years to come. But Jesse Lingard, I mean, the impact that he's had from a man that has not played much football to basically just come in and he just lit our team up. I thought around in January, we didn't really make many signings. We've got a thin squad as it is, but he just completely changed the morale around our team, just the work ethic, just everything. I always used to get really annoyed when I used to watch England play in major tournaments, and Jesse Lingard either wouldn't perform or he would be incredible. He was so up here or down here. But I've fallen in love with him. Like I don't have a bad word to say about him. He doesn't annoy me anymore. I just love him. But I think Odegaard again is another one who's been really, really good. Obviously, there's a lot of. I mean, this guy feels like he's been around since he was 15, 16 years of age, isn't he, at Real Madrid? Yeah. So he's still very young. But the last couple of weeks, he really has come on. Took his goal against Olympiacos, I think, was it, or somebody, where he scored an absolute screamer, really, really well. And he's got a wand of a left foot. But I would, sorry as the dog barks, I would not begrudge you for going with Odegaard. Nah, I'm gonna have to stick with Lingard. He just got called up in team squad today. So, I mean, it's personal preference, but I'm gonna have to go with Lingard.
Yeah, so I do not disagree with you. You say I'm going to pick an Arsenal player. I think Lingard, let me tell you, I used to hate him when he was at United. He used to score every single time against us, and then he used to do those stupid dances at the Emirates, and then it was very, very painful to hate them. But since he joined West Ham, I couldn't believe them how much of an impact he's had. That just shows you a player can literally be terrible in one club, not being used, be like an outcast in that team, and then all of a sudden join another club, and he's a superstar. That's Lingard for you. Like, it's gonna be very interesting to see whether you guys smash. Like, would you smash 30 million for him at the end of the season?
I don't think he'd be worth that much, just because there's a year left on his deal. I think if the reported fee for around 15 to 20, I'd do it. I'd do it. I know he's not getting any younger, and people always joke that he's sort of, you know, an up and coming talent. He's nearly 30 years of age. But I was like you. I hated when he scored because he would always do daft things. And then when he started doing those celebrations for us, I was all behind it. I love it. I think he's brilliant. I would definitely go for it. And the thing is, he's had such a tough time of it as well in the last 18 months with his mum going through depression and his sister or having to look after them. And he's had it rough, and he also has a point to prove. And I think so far he's doing that. He's got quite a special relationship with David Moyes from obviously their time together at the club. Listen, if he keeps performing the way he is, we have to sign him at the end of the season.
Yeah, I will go with Lingard as well. Don't worry about that. I will go with Lingard as well. It's been great. After that Aston Villa away game that you mentioned earlier on with Koufal, he was brilliant in that game. And then let's go to the strikers. We don't have a lot of options here.
We really don't.
Antonio, Lacazette, and Nketiah. Nketiah doesn't even play for the first team anymore. He was sent to the under-23s team. Funny enough, he scored against you guys at the Emirates. Antonio. I'm always worried about his hamstrings, Tom. Antonio can't run for 3 minutes without me being worried about his hamstrings. I'm not even a West Ham fan, but every time it gets to the 50th minute and you guys are like playing the substitution bingo and stuff, I'm always like, take Antonio off, please. You've already gotten 3 goals. Dodgy hamstrings, take him out. Lacazette as well. I think he's our top scorer this season. Done very well recently as well. So who are we going for? Haller left the club, obviously. So Antonio and Lacazette basically is who we're picking from.
Can I just avoid this question and go for our academy player, Odebeko, so I don't annoy anybody? He's not on the list. This is a tough one, because if when we wanted Lacazette like 3 or 4 years ago, when he moved from Lyon to you, I was so annoyed because I thought, oh my god, this guy's going to be next level. And he's done it in fits and spurts. Like, he's looked good sometimes, he's looked woeful other times. But the last few weeks, since he's been given that captain's armband by Arteta for some games and stuff in Europe, he scored, and he seems to have a good trust in Lacazette. I would argue some games I'd like to see him starting. I've seen him come off the bench quite a lot for you as well recently. But the thing is, like you said there, Antonio, you watch him and you just think, God, you should not be a professional footballer. Like his technique sometimes is so bad when he tries to dribble past. I mean, just look at him. He's such a funny guy. But I sometimes look and think you should not be a professional footballer. But then you'll do something incredible and you think, oh yeah, that's why we signed you. Listen, he's like 2 or 3 goals away from being our record goal scorer in the Premier League. With like, I mean, 51 goals I think he needs to pass. The top Premier League goal scorer for us, but his hamstrings is just.
Who has that right now?
I think it's Carlton Cole, and then it's I don't even know Carlton Cole, then Di Canio, and then I think it's Mikel Antonio. But if he didn't have such dodgy hamstrings, I think he could easily score 10 to 15 goals a season because he does have a great work rate, but. This is so tough, man. I don't know who to go with on this one. I really don't.
I don't know as well. For Antonio, the one thing I love about him, this guy can play as a right back, he can play as a left back, he can play as a right winger. I'm sure if Fabianski got injured, maybe goalkeeper once in a while, Antonio is very good. Only his injuries always worry me every time. Like if he had a very good striker next to him, like you play like a 4-4-2, and then let's say I always feel like you need a Giroud in your team. With the Cresswell crosses and the corners that you always score, and then if you had like a Giroud up front, you would win the title. You'd be up there with City.
This is what I thought because Sebastian Haller was a bit more mobile than Giroud, and he was as tall as him, and supposed to be good in the air, but it just never really worked out for him. And we tried 4-4-2. We tried the 2 strikers with Antonio and Haller up front, but it just never seemed to click. It never seemed to work. But I'm going to go with Antonio. Only on the fact that he's played more minutes this season, I'm pretty sure, surely, than Lacazette. I don't know how many goals that Lacazette has scored this season.
In the Premier League, I think he has 11.
Really?
Yeah, he's our top scorer. Okay. If you check all the competitions, I think it'll be like so, yeah.
Okay, I may have to change my. Do you know what?
I think this is the one position I'd agree if we didn't make a choice and you let people choose as well, because this one. I think both of them are not great, but on the same level, I'd say. Antonio can play different positions. When it comes to like things like penalties, Lacazette is great.
Who would I want in my team more? Yeah. And if I want a proper striker, if he was still had the same sort of pace that he had a few years ago, and I'd choose Lacazette every day of the week, but something about Antonio. There's just something about Antonio. I don't know what it is because I shouldn't feel this way about him. I don't know what the celebrations, the smile, whatever it is. I just can't choose against him. I just can't.
That's the other one you're gonna give the chat to choose manager David Moyes or Mikel Arteta. Experience. Obviously, he was his coach as well at Everton.
Arteta every day of the week. Controversial for.
I agree with you.
No, but from a West Ham fan perspective, because of how well he's done. But I just think Arteta's learned or had sort of that from some of the best, and he wants to play expansive possession football and create chances and play good football. Sometimes I watch David Moyes and I want to throw up, and then other times I watch Mikel Arteta and some of the football they play is exciting. So Arteta every day of the week for me.
So let's see. So in goal, we still didn't decide between Fabianski and Leno. Right back, Kufal. At left back, we had Cresswell. At centre back, we had Ogbonna. And
left back was Tierney.
Tierney, not Cresswell, definitely Tierney. I just mentioned the first.
I mean, you can have Cresswell if you want.
Tierney. At centre back, Ogbonna and either Dawson or Gabriel, and then Soucek and Rice in midfield. We had Saka on the right, Aubameyang on the left, Lingard as attacking midfield, and then deciding between Lacazette and Antonio. So we'll see how many players we've had. So let's see the ones we'd have on the bench as the first option. So obviously the goal in goal, either Fabianski or Leno, one of them will be on the bench. Fine. So at right back, who would you put on the bench after Kufal?
Fredericks. Just because he gives you that pace off the bench for me.
Here we definitely have Cresswell on the bench. And then from here we have either Dawson or Gabriel on the bench.
Yeah, and then Dawson or Gabriel,
Okay, and then midfield, who will be the first player on the bench?
Partey.
Partey, and then on the right side, fast player on the bench, interesting one. Tough one.
Either Pepe or Bowen. Either Pepe or Bowen.
Yeah, I'd probably go for Bowen. I think he's been played more minutes, if I'm not wrong. On the left side, Martinelli hasn't played a lot.
Benrahma.
Okay. Attacking midfielder, Odegaard or Smith Rowe?
Both. Why not have? Because then the striker option, we don't have to choose a striker. We could just say Smith or an Odegaard, and then let the chat decide who goes on the bench between the strikers.
That's very interesting. I'll have the full team on. I'll put it on Twitter and see what people say. But yeah, I wanted to keep it at 40 minutes. We might as well have done it live, but if we did it live, it could have been like 2 hours because of the comments. But yeah, Tom, thank you very much for coming on.
Anytime, mate. Again, Bathurst32, YouTube, Twitter, all that good stuff. You can find me there.
Yeah, make sure you go subscribe to him on YouTube. Brilliant guy. I think this is like the 4th show I'm doing on the channel with him. Thank you for watching. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys later.